Hey, what's going on, guys, and welcome to my 31 Days of Halloween. This is my 1950s versus 1960s series, and this week we have a Hammer classic in The Revenge of Frankenstein from 1958, directed by Terence Fisher. In The Revenge of Frankenstein, Cushing's Baron is rescued from the guillotine and escapes to Carlsbrook, where he assumes a new identity and remains bent on achieving his goal once more. However, exposure threatens his experiments and the life of his new creation, but this time the good doctor has an even more cunning plan for escape. So, Baron von Frankenstein assumes his new identity in Dr. Stein, and he gets himself a new protege, and he gets himself a new lab assistant. Now, the lab assistant actually is a willing participant to transfer his brain into this new creature that him, Dr. Stein, and his new protege are creating. Because the lab assistant actually has a disability, he has like a paralysis in his arm, and he has a droopiness on the right side of his face. Dr. Stein believes that it's not coming from anything neurological in his head, so this can be fixed in the new body, as long as they transfer the brain into the new body. Unfortunately, that doesn't go to plan. So the lab assistant actually meets a new nurse, I think, that's working at the hospital where Dr. Stein and Dr. Hans are working. And he kind of has a fancy for her. And I think you, as the audience, believe that, well, I did, that he'd get the new body, he'd be rocking his new body, and he might find a new love interest. So he might be the Frankenstein's monster, and it actually might be set on a good path, you know. He's got this new body that's been put together with new parts, and actually these parts are stolen from the poor. So Dr. Stein works at this hospital, and you can see that he's just taking body parts that he wants from living people. Like, there's just a guy sitting in his bed, and he says, that arm's gotta go. So he takes that, and he's gonna put that into his new creature. And he's gonna create a new Frankenstein's monster as we know it, but to him it's a groundbreaking experiment, right? So, Carl, his lab assistant, is a willing participant to go into this new type of creature. And as the brain is transferred over into the new body, everything's going fine. You know, he's got this new body, he's good looking, and the nurse actually that helps at the hospital finds him laying in the bed, and Dr. Stein and his protege agree that he just needs some rest. Give him a couple of days, he'll be fine. And it's a groundbreaking new experiment. And also at this time, Dr. Hans, Dr. Stein's protege, actually says that once he's recovered, they'll be taking him to conferences, and he'll get a lot of exposure as a groundbreaking new scientific discovery. Right, this actually kind of infuriates Carl, and he escapes, and he goes and hides at a farm. And at that farm, he finds out that his paralysis in his arm comes back, the droopiness in the side of his face comes back, and all these issues come back. Meanwhile, Dr. Stein and Dr. Hans are actually pretty happy with what's happened, but they don't know that he's escaped. They find out that he's escaped. There's a massive manhunt for the monsters, they call it. And Dr. Frankenstein is discovered, and as Dr. Frankenstein's discovered, there's a massive hunt for him.
Flake. Cadbury's Flake. A heaven all of your own.
The set design in this movie is really good. There's like a type of alleyway underground type of laboratory. He's got reanimated body parts sitting there that are animated with electricity. The acting's really good. Peter Cushing knocks it straight out of the park with this one. Cushing's just a Hammer staple. He's fantastic in everything you see. And also everyone else in the movie's not too bad. can also say there's just a little bit of a social message in the movie about the divide between the poor and the rich, which you can see throughout the movie, and the poor are just treated like crap, the rich just overrunning everything, and there's this massive divide, which is, it's good to have those type of that type of reflection in these movies, and a lot of the time there is, and Terence Fisher does a good job with this movie. And The Revenge of Frankenstein, I would give a 7 out of 10. It's not the best, I think it's got a bit of an abrupt ending, as I mentioned, but I did enjoy it, and I'm looking forward to watching more of these Cushing Frankenstein movies. So that's Kurt from The Dungeon. Thanks for watching. Please comment if you can, subscribe,